basically spoke about giving assurance, that there will be free and fair elections. Now, the fact that the president said that means that he's not going to interfere with what INEC is doing. And we have to admit that over time, the quality of elections in this country has been improving. Even under this administration, all the elections that took place, they were qualitatively better than the elections which took place under the PDP. For example, the election that took place in 2007, when they used ballot papers that were not serialized. Can you imagine? Then the president is not going to make use of the security agencies, just like the way they did in Ekiti under the PDP government. Now, the president is not going to put himself in a position whereby he's going to constitute himself as a clog to free and fair elections. I think these are assurances that are very, very important, because I can't even remember, even under the past administration, there was never this commitment. Verbal commitment is also good, and it will be matched with actions. That's it. So secondly, on the issue of shifting responsibility, they keep saying they are going to privatize, they will sell NMPC, they will sell this, they will sell... See, let me tell you, it's just an easy way of saying government cannot do anything. Let's entrust it to our friends for them to go and do, whereas we feast on the resources we've been able to free up. Nigeria is not really ripe for that. You need a hybrid system. Okay, privatization is good in some ways, but you can't just privatize everything.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
I've always felt that public discourse must be done at the level of the cognitive skills of people. If I sit in studio on the first working day of the year and have a conversation around how do you build and open and expand an economy in Africa, where the entire world has agreed that there is a systemic reason to believe that government has no business running business, that government business is to do policy, create the framework, and allow organized private sector who have the skills and the expertise and the discipline to run economies. That's what's happening even in China, that's what's happening in America, that's what's happening all over the world. And I must react to this. It's unfortunate. I think he just doesn't understand how these things work. That you are running a privatized concept in the mind for sectors of the economy does not mean that government is not going to have roles, responsibilities, and duty. It's like saying that there will be no agencies to monitor them. You won't get your taxes. You won't expand the areas. You won't put your money in some other thing. You're still going to have to fund education significantly. You're going to have to fund healthcare significantly. And all this talk about infrastructure. You see, the APC, coming from before they won the election in 2015 to date, there seem to be a people that lash on to one buzzword and take that buzzword and start running with it if they like the word, and without actually checking to see what it means. If you are spending significantly in infrastructure in any economy, the multiplier effect is that it's supposed to be creating jobs for you, because you're going to have a value chain. Nigeria under APC is the only location in the world where they claim that they are spending on infrastructure and yet they're losing jobs and the economy is dry. It simply means that something is not adding up. And the total amount of money that they are spending in infrastructure relative to their borrowing is about a third of the value that they borrowed.
Well, they said in 2018, 2.7 trillion.
Yes, but how much have they borrowed in 2018? That's the point. The point is the actual commitment they put into it relative to the actual borrowing. I'm telling you, it's about a third. So what's gone with the 2/3 of it? Look, governments in Africa, in Nigeria especially, we must as citizens understand that, yes, there will be political discourse when election comes, but we have a duty to make sure that we're inching forward in all of the right direction. What are the directions that Nigeria should inch forward now? One is that we must create jobs. We can't have that data and not take it serious. It can blow up in our face. The second is that we must open up the economy a little bit more. There's just so much that government can do. Even the ones that government claims is doing is going to borrow money. The best people to borrow money and pay the money back and run the businesses are people that are in private sector. The third is that you must unite the country. You cannot have a situation where there's crisis all over And you're saying to yourself that the only reason why you're not going to have a conversation around restructuring or around an adjustment of the constitution to accommodate the new issues like policing and all of that is because you don't want to talk about it. Who does that? You are not giving the country the opportunity to look at its problem and to solve it. There is a marked difference between a promissory comment that you make at campaigns and an implementation strategy. The major problem with the APC is that they are incapable of coming up with an implementation strategy to work. The last time we checked, I ran through their document today. They made about 40 promises in the last manifesto and comment, and they didn't achieve even one.
Mr. Hamza, could you give us some more understanding? Is it that the party or government, if you will, don't subscribe to privatization or getting the private sector in the scheme of things?
Okay, I'll answer this, but first of all, let me respond. What cognitive ability are they talking about? Just because you go and read a textbook and come out with huge concepts of government is not supposed to, has no business doing business, and then you come and brandish it all over the place and give the impression that, that you should privatize everything. That doesn't make sense. Nigeria is still not ripe for the kind of privatization they're talking about. They want to concession everything. They want to sell everything. And if anything, if seriously there is the private sector that is strong and viable enough to take some of these government undertakings and assets on concession, why don't they go straight ahead and venture and compete with the government enterprises? Why don't they do that? We're not saying the APC is not interested in privatization.
Yeah, what is the thinking?
Certainly the APC is.
What's the mindset of the party or the government towards privatization?
For privatization, we agree. But their own is privatization, hook, line, and sinker. And this thing they are talking of no value chain in being created by the infrastructural spending. Well, let me take you back. What used to happen in the past is they will get cronies who will come and get contracts. They will make margins as much as 10 to 30%. By the time
just a minute, let me ask you before we wrap this up. If you can hear me,
already in a very tight corner. 30% has been taken.
Can you hear me, Mr.
has
Hamza?
been taken, and then he's unable to execute. When this government came, they had these issues. They had these issues. So most of this money that has gone to the contractors, a number of them are... Okay, hello? Can you hear me?
All right, unfortunately, that's how far we can go today. Yeah, I know. But not to worry, it's a rolling topic. So we'll always have both of you come back on the program. We must appreciate you for coming on. Shehu Shomi, spokesperson at Atiku campaign. And of course, Barrister Hamza Bugaje is a founding member of the APC and NCA. And don't forget, it's the group that bought the form for the president. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on the program today. Well, back in a moment. Don't go away.